Welcome to the TechBurgh podcast. We're back at the Creative Treehouse. This episode is brought to you by Tubu Domains, domain names starting at only $1.99.
These domain names come with lots of free stuff, free site builders, podcasting tools, start your own podcast, advertising tools, email forwarding, and more.
This week we're going to look to the stars with Google Earth.
And we're going to talk a little bit about Verizon FIOS.
So Google isn't happy with mapping and photographing the entire globe. They've now set their sights on outer space.
Right. If you see on the news, on CNN or wherever, they have like the flyovers of the Earth and whatever. You fly in on a map and you can see the geography there. Well, that's a lot of places use Google Earth to do that. You see down the bottom right-hand corner it says Google Earth. Google has a free version of this Google Earth program, which is really, really cool. We'll put an address up on where to download it, but it's neat. You just download it, type in an address, and it'll quickly zoom around the world and find that address, and you can zoom in on it and kind of see. It's not live, but it's fairly up-to-date satellite photographs. And there's lots of cool stuff on Google Earth too. You can just see different places around the world. You can see 3D buildings, and you can like level out and look around a building and things like that. It's kind of cool. But that's another thing. Google Earth is cool. Download Google Earth and play around with it. The latest version, though, has a Google Space addition to it. Google Space was actually developed in Pittsburgh, at the Google offices in Pittsburgh. I wish I'd have known that there was a big press event because they were having it, and that would have been really cool. So next time, Google invite me and I'll go. But yeah, the Google labs in Pittsburgh actually developed this, or had a big deal in developing this add-on. You click a little button at the top, and it, instead of looking down at Earth, it looks up at space, and you can just type in the names of planets or constellations, and it zooms around. You can look at the constellations, you can look at where the planets are and things like that. It even shows the planets in motion, so if you want to see what the moon's going to do or where the moon's going to be in a certain phase on a certain day, it'll tell you that, and it'll show you where it's going to be and things like that too. It's really cool because it will show galaxies, and people have already put in different stuff. So yeah, the Google Space is a really cool thing. You can zoom in on planets and look at what they look like, or find out information about the planets, and there's some really cool stuff. So Google Space is definitely something to look at, and I can see that Google's going to be doing a lot more with their Earth and space technologies. We're still waiting the Google Maps Streets level. When you go to maps.google.com and you can see the streets thing, there's been a lot of promotion about this, a lot of hype about this. They haven't done Pittsburgh yet. I'm waiting on them to do Pittsburgh. I actually saw a month or two ago one of the I think it was a Google Maps car in Pittsburgh doing all the stuff. So we're waiting on them to do Pittsburgh, which would be kind of cool. But check out Google Space and check out Google Earth. Totally free and totally worth it. So yeah, well worth it, and helps with your homework. So yeah, check that out.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh, Verizon is spreading FIOS all over the country, but can you explain it to us?
FIOS, it's very, very limited right now, only available in very certain select areas, but FIOS, F-I-O-S, is the fiber optic system. Also, I read on Wikipedia when I was researching this that FIOS is actually Gaelic for knowledge. I didn't know that. Coming from a Gaelic-speaking country, I should have, but I didn't. So it's kind of cool that it fits in with fiber optic system as well as knowledge. Best way to explain fiber optic is a very, very thin glass strand. You can shine light in one end and it comes out the other. Like the little wands you get at the fair that have got the little colours on the end of them. That's their fiber optic. And what fiber optics do, what fiber optics do, it transmits data at the speed of light, because it's using a light source and going through light, and it transmits data. Instead of electrical signals passing ones and zeros, it uses light pulses. So fiber optics are a lot faster and a lot more reliable, and probably a lot more cost effective in the long run than the normal network cabling. You can put a lot more data and a lot more stuff over fiber optic because it's just using light, and it's just compression and things like that. So what Verizon's doing is they're using it for an internet service, which is like crazy fast, The download and upload speeds start at 5 megabytes per second and go up to 10, 15, and 50, I think. Of course, you got to pay for it, but it's crazy fast anyway. As well as they're putting telephone service using the POP system over the FIOS system, as well as television service, so you can get certain TV channels over your system too. So FIOS is pretty cool. Like I said, it's available in only certain parts of the country, certain parts of town. You got to be pretty close to a Verizon exchange, I believe. So if you're kind of out in the boondocks, then you don't have much chance of seeing it anytime soon. But FIOS, like I said, is super fast, speed of light, using light, internet service, as well as television and phone. And it is crazy fast, and it would be really, really nice if they could start using it all over the country and like make it more of a standard, so that you know, it can give some competition to other companies and things like that. So that's what FIOS is.
What do you think the likelihood of that happening is going to be?
Pretty good. It's a new emerging technology. Fiber optic has been used in networking, like internal networking in buildings, for a while, but it's been expensive. It does tend to be more reliable because it's either there or not. And instead of using hard copper cable, it's just strands of glass, so it tends to be cheaper to run the network, or in the long run, cheaper to run the network. So the likelihood would be pretty good, but it's going to take a while to do it. I think once it gets stretched out there, and people are going to cash in on it. There are certain towns, I think they're going town by town right now, and I think they're starting out in some suburbs to kind of test it out. But yeah, I think it's going to become likely that they'll certainly, I think, kill their DSL eventually, and cable, of course, because FIOS is just so much faster. If they put the pricing right, then it'll outdo that too. So pretty likely, it should be pretty good. I'd say that if they changed over, or if it became available in my area and it was a decent price, I'd change from my cable modem and get FIOS. So I'm normally anti-Verizon, but they can, if it's priced right and if the speed's right, then I'd go for it, definitely.
Well, that was it for this week. Make sure to check out our podcast next week, and in the meantime, make sure you're checking out the blog at techburgh.com.